Well, with all this bad news about Israel hitting its 6th consecutive year of drought, time for a little good news. Israeli scientists are hoping to create new breeds of plants that can resist the effects of a drought in a very creative way. They're mining for genes from plant life found in and around the areas of the Dead Sea in hopes of finding a genetic sequence that can give crops camel power. The team from Israel's Plant Arc Bio company have a big task ahead of them. But with hundreds of acres of crops dying every year thanks to 6 years of running drought, the stakes are certainly high. Right now, the group of scientists are harvesting soil and water samples from the Dead Sea and Arava regions, and from these samples, all kinds of plant life, animals, viruses, fungi, and microorganisms can be distilled and then ground up into genetic samples. Scientists then take these genetic brews and parse out millions, if not tens of millions of samples of isolated genes. And finally, each gene is physically fused into a plant model, which can then be grown in desert conditions to see if this gene is resistant to zero water conditions. But if you've been following the math, then you may have noticed something. Wouldn't this idea require millions of individual plant samples for millions of genes, and then also take weeks or months for each plant to grow? Well, yeah, that's exactly the plan. It may be costly, slow, and insanely tedious, but even if one of these plants pays off with drought-resistant powers, that could lead to an entirely new era of crop growth. And not just in Israel, but potentially all over the world. So far, the team estimates that about 1% of all the collected gene samples should have at least partial drought-resistant powers. Needless to say, we're all hoping that somewhere in all those little sprouts, an incredible cure against drought is just waiting to be found.